Welcome back to the channel. This is S.O.G. Today we're going to be comparing the new released Olight PLx, and we're going to compare it to the very popular Streamlight TLR-7 HL-X. Both of these are very comparable in terms of size and output, and I think it's going to be a great video. Now, the PLx was sent out to me by Olight, and I actually just recently, a couple of days ago, bought the TLR-7 HL-X from Amazon. So we're going to take a look and see how they compare, because recently I made a ton of content on the PLx and stated that I believe that, in my personal opinion, that this was the best weapon mounted light currently on the market. And we're going to see how it holds up, because everybody started bringing up the Streamlight TLR-7 HL-X. So we're going to see, and you guys let me know at the end of this video which of these two you prefer and why. Let's begin this comparison with the numbers. The HL-X comes in at just under $180, and the PLx comes in at just under $120. So in terms of price point and affordability, Olight takes a nod for that. The HL-X has a 1000 lumen output. The PLx has a 1200 lumen output. The HL-X has a 22,000 candela, and the PLx has a 22,500 candela. The HL-X has a 297 meter throw, which is awesome, and the PLx has a 300 meter throw, which is just slightly better than the HL-X. But as you guys can see on paper, in terms of numbers, the PLx edges out the HL-X so far. All right, so here is the HL-X, really nice and bright, and here is the PLx, much brighter. As you guys can see, the center is bigger on the PLx, and the floodlight around the PLx is better than the HL-X. Now, the HL-X does look a little whiter. The PLx gives me a more of a yellow tint, but still, as far as the output goes, PLx does dominate the HL-X. Let's put this in low mode. I mean, look at that. In low mode, it's not even that much of a difference, right? Just an awesome comparison between the two. And honestly, I thought it'd be a lot closer, because the HL-X has 1000 and this one has 1200. So I thought it'd be a lot closer than this. The HL-X has a max battery lifespan of 90 minutes, and it uses a replaceable battery. So you can undo this bezel and have access to that replaceable battery. Now, you can either run one of those rechargeable SLB9 batteries and get that 1000 lumen output, or you can replace it with a CR132 battery instead and get a 500 max lumen output. Now, if we take a look at the PLx, the PLx has a max battery runtime of 145 minutes, so almost an hour more of a runtime. So you do get more out of the Olight in terms of battery life. However, it doesn't have a replaceable battery. You do have a rechargeable battery via a USB-C that you have access to right down here, so you don't have to remove anything or undo anything on the light to power it up. But again, it does not have a battery operated version. So to me, the PLx gets the nod for runtime in terms of battery, but the HL-X has the better feature of having a removable or replaceable battery. Both the PLx and the HL-X have a high and low beam mode. They also have strobe features, and they're both IPX7 waterproof rated. They're both hard anodized in terms of the material that they use, but I will mention that the HL-X almost looks like it's got plastic parts on the exterior with the aluminum housing, and the PLx has aluminum housing everywhere. I don't believe this has plastic other than maybe the toggle switches here, but I could be wrong. It just doesn't feel like it's plastic anywhere. So you do get a little bit more quality in the housing out of the PLx. Also, this is type 3 aluminum. I don't know if this is type 3 or not. They don't specify, but type 3 is just basically a surface that something that they put on the surface to make it more durable. This one has a clamp on style just like the TLR-7. And then if we take a look here at the rails, this one has an adjustable rail system, so you can slide up and down. This one does not. You have some extra keys, a ton of keys for this one though, and then this one comes with a 1913 and a Glock key, so you can fit on a ton of guns. So I think as far as the keys go, they're both adaptable to a ton of guns. It's a tie there for me. But with the rail system, I give it to, again, the PLX, just because you can adjust that rail system. You can't really adjust it on the HLX. Again, for the housing material, even though they're made of the same stuff, I believe, I think that the Olight just has more quality because there's less plastic parts or no plastic parts at all. Taking a look at the switches here, the PLX, you can either turn on and off by pushing down or pushing in. You can, kind of use them both sides, and same with the HLX. So button wise, they are exactly the same. I don't really notice any difference in terms of which one feels better or looks better. They're both very, very similar. However, you will notice the PLX has a battery life indicator there. HLX does not have that feature, so another win for the Olight. And then if we take a look at some other features that they have, Olight PLX has an industry first flood and spotlight mode, so you can switch this and it'll switch the beam. Again, a feature that the HLX does not have, and another win for the Olight. Taking a look at the LEDs here, you'll see because this one has a flood and spotlight, it's got just more LEDs there. But otherwise, it's just basically whatever you like best. I mean, they both work perfectly fine and they have similar output. So just whatever your preference is at that point. We're going to go ahead and mount this PLX right here on the PDP. And as you guys can see, at the flush fitting point here, it fits perfect and it is flush to that muzzle. No large gaps in between the firearm or the light, and the switches do intercede a little bit in that trigger guard, but you can, like I said, you have that adjustable rail, so you can smash it out there if you don't want it in there, and then it protrudes just a little. Otherwise, if you want it flush fitting, there you go. Now let's test out the HLX. So the HLX, there you go. You have the same issue with the, well, not issue, but same thing with the switches here, but you can adjust it forward, and the bezel protrudes that muzzle. So again, depending on what you like, if you prefer this style, if you prefer a flush fitting style, it's up to you. I personally like flush fitting. It just looks better, but it's totally up to you. Not one is better than the other. So that's subjectable to whatever you like. However, if you want to move this back and forth, you're going to have to swap out that key manually to do that. You can't really do it on the go. Keep in mind, it's nice when you have a Picatinny rail that has, multiple slots. If you got a gun like, let's say for example, a Glock or whatever, then that only has one slot, then it might be a little tougher for you to customize. And in that aspect, the PLX will come on top because it's just more flexible to wherever you want to fit it. Another really important thing for weapon mounted lights is going to be holster compatibility. You can have the brightest and best and longest lasting weapon mounted light out there on the market, but if you don't have holsters that accommodate for that light, it sucks, because there's no point in having it or carrying with it. It would have to be a home defense light. And in that aspect, I think that Olight did a great job because they reached out to multiple companies. I think there's like 8 companies right now from when this launched that offer PLX compatible holsters. What I personally use is this IKC Flextron holster. It's an inside the waistband sidecar style holster. Love this holster. It's been extremely comfortable and nice. It fits the PLX perfectly because it's made for it. But we know that Streamlight has taken over the holster world. Everybody makes a holster for a Streamlight, especially the TLR-7 category. And I think that it's unbeatable. I don't care how good the light is. I don't think any manufacturer out there has more holster compatibility than Streamlight, and that's a huge plus. And if you guys are interested, I'll show you what it looks like or how it fits in here. So really good audible click, really good retention, as you guys can see here. So just an awesome holster for the PLX. Again, the TLR-7 wins by far in the holster world, but I do like the fact that Olight actually thought of holster compatibility before releasing this PLX and got all these companies included in releasing holsters for them to be ready by the time the PLX came out. So a great job by Olight, but I think the Streamlight easily takes the win on that one. Another thing to note with the PLX is to go from high to low, you double click the switch, and then to enter strobe feature, you triple click. So very easy to maneuver this one. And with the HLX, it's a little harder. you have one mode, which is high mode. If you want to enter strobe or low, you have to click one of the switches 9 times and then hold on the 10th. And I don't know, but we're going to try. Let's see. It says while it's off. So let's try this. I'm not sure, honestly. There we go. What? See, that was weird. So 9 times while it's off, hold on the 10th. Turned off. Yeah, I don't get it. So honestly, in my personal opinion, I think that the PLX is a lot easier to handle, to maneuver, to manipulate. It's brighter. In my personal opinion, I'm going to go with the PLX. Well, that'll wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hit that like button and drop a comment down below as to which of these two you prefer and why. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But if you already have, I appreciate you guys so much. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.